what you have is nothing more than a system of wires and circuits. It can show feelings only to the extent of which you program it to. It will be your friend, no more than the table you built it on will be.
Hey, what up everybody? Duck here. Welcome to the stream. Let me know real quick before we get too far how the audio sounds. Make sure music's not up too loud or anything in the background for you. Yeah. How's it going? So, yeah, Bitcoin on the screen. Per usual. Let's dive in. See what we got going on here. So zooming out just a little bit, get a little perspective here. You can see the white dotted lines here, and then you could see the yellow dotted line, the dashed lines in the middle. So that represents the big range that we've been in, right? See this range right here. I could extend it, see what I'm playing with right here. So the white bottom of the range, middle of the range, top of the range, right? Okay, so as you can see, we've kind of broken out of the top of the range here. So again, this is going to be a critical, very critical area here. It's not over yet. We're not out of the woods yet because we've exhausted a lot of our momentum getting here, okay? So basically, I mean, we have Chop City right here, right? If we want to make sure that this is just going to hold right now, we obviously just need to stay above it, okay? We need to back test Chop City as support, okay? And then you can rally right away. But if we fail here, right, if we get back below this and we get back into Chop City, we might end up you know, falling back out of this and ending up, gosh, it's really hard to say, right? But back testing this midpoint again may be possible. When we left it, we really never back tested it. We just took off to the range high, okay? And I mean, we talked about that being a possibility. We were like, okay, look, bottom of the range, right? Initial dump, then you rally up, make the top of the range, sell back off, partial decline, mid-range, top of the range again, midpoint, right? This is how we created this. And then the midpoint failed, right? And we ended up falling all the way back down to the bottom, rallied, top of the range, failed, again, bottom of the range, midpoint, rally, fail, all the way to the bottom, put in the low, right? And then straight up back to the top of the range, right? So this has been a range bound asset, large range, but it's been a range bound asset for 72 days and 12 hours. Okay, 73 days almost. So lot of stuff going on there, right? In that range. So now zooming in, we can see, all right, when we left this area here the last time, this midpoint, I mean, I don't know, I'm not really considering that a back test of it. Usually, I mean, it's more discernible, kind of like this break, and then you see this major back test, right? You don't just go, right? That's not a back test. That's the go. So it was nice here. Break, hook, go, right? But here, yeah, I mean, you never really did that. So this coming all the way back down here, I know it seems crazy, but there's a CME gap right in here somewhere for one, and then you'd have a square up right here for two. Okay, so this could just come in here, do whatever, and then just rally right back out. Okay, it's just, I mean, a larger time frame, this would be where you would paint that hidden bullish divergence. That's why we look for that on those partial declines, if that were to happen. Okay, so again, how do we know it's not gonna? Well, this would have to hold above this previous basically high right here, okay, of it's basically hold 4,000. That's like 4,700, so almost holding the high 4Ks, right? You'd have to basically hold this previous highs of the harmonic, right, and flip those into support here to just immediately continue on up. And if you do that, that's where you're going to be, 48,900, okay, if you can hold and rally. But again, I mean, that's just going to pretty much be up only stuff, right? If you just go right up there, that's a long run. I mean, it could do it, but it's just more common at some point to see these partial declines, all right? It happens on the way up. It doesn't make us like say, oh, we're going to zero. It's nothing like that. It's just these little resets. It's nothing major, and it just gives people re-entries, right? If you could identify a trend, right? If you could say, okay, I'm in some kind of an uptrend here, right? So, you know, what's my how is my trend line being drawn? I don't know. This isn't the most important thing right now, but it's just something, right? So you can say, okay, bottom of the channel, midpoint of the channel, went to the top again. So maybe we come back down and test this middle again, right? Just some kind of partial decline. I mean, I don't know if that channel was the best example. It just, yeah. So if you get the, I mean, even backtesting just Chop City and staying in there, that's still kind of holding good enough, right? That's still backtesting a lot of these, you know, now you're holding the lower part of the harmonics, right? On the bottom of that yellow line. So just look for some kind of SR flip, right? That's what we're looking for next. This one massive engulfing candle right here is nice to see, right? You had to pop out of that somehow, and you figure again, like here, when you finally get those reactions out, they're pretty significant. So let's see if it wants to hold or not. But yeah, overall, I mean, backing out, right? This was basically like pretty textbook Wyckoff accumulation at the low, right? If you Wyckoff that, one of the Wyckoff accumulation schematics would probably follow that pretty good. And at that point, I mean, on a Wyckoff, you would actually, you know, see this continuation. Okay, so it's definitely possible, right, to see it hold. So that's why, again, I forget what coin we were just talking about in the chat. I think it was Link. You know, I was exiting Link when it hit these take profit target areas of its harmonic, right? In its zone here, and exited 40% of the position. So reason for 40 is because, I mean, it's a big run up, right? So you want to lock in some gains there, but also you let the other, you know, 60% ride in case that this just simply chops and continues, right? So no one's gonna get broke taking profit, and you still have a nice big bag to let run, right, for the remainder of the trip. So things like that, you know, I find myself doing often, or simply, you know, one could be trailing stops as best as they could, and the stop could be worth 40% or whatever duration, you know, amount you fill. So whenever this stop that you're trailing gets hit, that's when you lock in the 40. So if it never gets hit, and for somehow you get that to trail really nice, you're running with the whole 100 still, okay? It just takes a little bit more monitoring. No, not necessarily. I mean, you could set trailing stops, you know, to trail percentages behind, right? Trail at, you know, 3-5% behind, whatever you want to do. But anyways, so the reason we let some ride is because there's always that chance that it just holds, you know, and continues to run. Because overall, even on these partial declines, we're never really getting bearish here. We're just saying, hey, if we get any sort of dip like that and you see hidden bull, you just buy more, buy it again. So perfect example, watch. Is it AVE? Yeah, AVE. Okay, so picture like this was, say this was Bitcoin, right? And you have your rally, right? You have your rally, and then here's your big engulfing candle, and you broke out of the chop city right here, right? And it's trying to hold, it's trying to rally, but it comes back, tests again, and ultimately it fails, and then it back tests it as resistance. You see that? And then it sold off, and you get this partial decline, right? But look where your entry is, right? So the 60% is still running from here, okay? So you took 40% off here, okay? You take your 40 off here in the really, sorry, let me back that up. It was actually been more up here, right? Where you would have taken the 40%, because we took it in between the C and the A on Link, right? And then you get this big partial decline, and then this is where you re-add on that 40%, and now you've compounded even more, and that 60 was running the whole time, and it's just this initial low and this much higher low, right? So it's nothing to worry about. Then you just come back test, you know, Chop City again, and eventually, right, you it's time to rally again, right? So this is kind of just what I was looking at as a possibility, right? It doesn't have to happen, of course, but if it does, this is where you buy more in that higher low, right? And also this is where the stop ended up getting moved up to after the rally away from price, right? So we're just looking for a potential area to re-add on profit that we've pulled, okay? So it never meant that we got bearish on the asset, right? The asset the whole time we remain bullish on, right? It's just a time to come back and touch it, continue on up. You come back, you touch it somewhere else, continue on up, okay? So no biggie. Going back to Bitcoin, so this being that small Gartley, we have that rally, right? So go back to AVE, this being that small Gartley, we have that rally, we create a much larger harmonic. So now let's look back at Bitcoin. So it's basically kind of saying that, you know, depending how it paints, it might not even be done painting yet, right? You might have this decline, you rally back up, you fail again, put in a lower high, and then this is somewhere where you get this partial decline. And again, it depends where you're anchoring from. Maybe the anchor point is this low, right? Maybe it's this low, and that's where you get this this harmonic like this. That would be kind of almost Gartley. So Gartley would have a 618 here, right? So let's say this came down, did this kind of thing, rally back up, boom. So again, you have this initial buy zone, right? And this would just create this new secondary buy zone, and it just gives people a second entry, right? You see what I mean? Something like that, right? So just again, it's not bearish, it's just a higher low, and then so this is now, we painted this previous high, right? And now we have a higher high. So now by retracing somewhere, we paint the higher low, right? Because we had this low and now we have the higher low. So, and then after that, we could paint a higher high than this. So now we could look and paint a new higher high, right? So it's just price action trending in to the upside, okay? So again, once we get out of this range, we were just expecting for this range to, okay, so right now the buy zone is the range low, right? The original buy zone down here, this is the range low. You can see this, right? Range low. Okay, so whoops, I didn't want that one, I wanted this one. So now we have the range midpoint, and we have the range high, the current range high, all right? But if this holds, or when this decides to break out, right? Because sometimes, again, we might fall back in and then break out of it, right? Either way, it's like 1, 2, 3 maybe. Either way, we're going to see this thing lost at some point, you would figure, okay? So when this happens, we're going to leave the previous range, okay? The current range that we're in, we're going to leave it. And we're going to jump up into a new range. So what that's going to do is it's going to create a new range high somewhere, all right? We don't know yet, but we do know where the new range midpoint is going to be. It's going to be the previous range high. The range low will remain. The range midpoint will be the previous range high. So now I'll bring the midpoint up to, because we know the previous range high. So I'll bring this up here. Boom. And this is how we're identifying the new range high. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so we're at the midpoint, all right? So again, coming all the way up and testing the midpoint, and we basically chop citied right here. You would think that, yeah, you can get a little partial decline, right? It's not that unheard of. Okay. And then this is how we get to this deep retrace area. Also, this deep retrace area up here between the 786 and the 886 square up area. This becomes the new range high and the deep retrace all in one, and kind of this target area. 48.9 here in the middle. This is just kind of the next area of interest, but it's nothing too crazy to worry about. Okay. So that's how we end up possibly doing this, okay? So we just create a new massive range here, right? And the new range high becomes, 55, 56K, all right? So let's see what happens there, right? So your plan is basically what we've kind of always, what we said earlier. We had this chop city. So we said if you get above chop city, you're long, okay? If you fall back below chop city, you would be short. And not necessarily that you have to short, you're just waiting for this re-entry, okay? So you don't have to take that short. You could just re-long. Once the short on the low time frame plays out, you reset the oscillators, some kind of hidden bullish divergence develops, you can just re-add. if you don't feel comfortable shorting such bullish price action, I don't blame you. Again, we're never really getting bearish here. This is just, we're looking for hidden bullish divergence, price action continuation to the upside. We're not like going back to zero, right? So nothing like that here, okay? We are looking for the range high ultimately, right? We are looking for 55 or 56K. So we're just trying to get as much Bitcoin as we can on the way to 55 or 56K, right? No need to do anything crazy. Just keep adding and accumulating onto your position on your way up to higher prices. And then as we get there, you know, we'll just reevaluate as more data presents itself. ETH. Okay, so Russian Ethereum. We've been watching this downsloping trend line for quite some time, right? This downsloping trend line here. We've been watching that, and we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 touch points, significant, right? And we said, you know, once we get this final pop, it was going to be pretty epic, and it was a nice little pop, right? So look, this came all the way up, hit the target, boom, and then it went straight back down and back tested the downsloping trend line, and then wham, straight up again, right back at that target again. So extremely bullish. But again, we kind of expected, I can't say we expected, I don't know what the right word is, but we were kind of predicting ETH to be more bullish than Bitcoin because the ETH to BTC pairing was looking that way, right? So this looks really strong here. So with ETH, same thing, right? Pretend the midpoint, just like on Bitcoin, right? The midpoint here, this midpoint is the high of the harmonic, okay? The target. So look at ETH, right? This high of the harmonic here is basically your midpoint. So that being said, you have similar situation here that you do on Bitcoin. So let me zoom this out a bit. You have this X and current D area, right here, where you got a lot of touch points. This is the range low, okay? Well, if C right here is the range midpoint, let's make that the midpoint, okay? So the range high right now is going to be up here for ETH, and that makes sense. It's really close to this deep retrace, okay? Golden zone is top of the golden zone, right nearing the deep retrace. So, okay. So that being said, all right, ETH needs to at some point flip this area, okay, and be able to run to the range high. The fact that if this was the low, right, we're basically going from low to midpoint, from low to midpoint. So we need this to flip. It may partial decline, okay, and then flip on the next run up, okay? Again, this is a possibility. There's basically two scenarios, right? This is scenario one right here, where you flip it right now and hold it. You've broken it, you haven't tested it as support, okay? That's scenario one. And then this is scenario two, where you sell off, put in a higher low than the previous low, right? Put in a new higher low. So this would be the higher low. Okay. So let's see which one of those scenarios plays out. But Russian Ethereum, I mean, looking really nice, right? The stop on ETH now, I would still keep it here until we see this play out, okay? We haven't seen it. Okay, let's go back to AVAX again, right? It's showing us the way. So AVAX had this range low and broke out way before everything else and put in that partial decline, okay? So picture ETH if you picture ETH is in our what we're thinking. ETH is here, okay? So when ETH puts in this low, higher low here, and then rallies, okay, that's what we're kind of waiting for. Don't know if we'll get it. That's when we move the stop up, okay? So let's go back and look at ETH. So if we get this partial decline and then we get the rally, that's when we'll move the stop to here, okay? Wherever that ends up rallying off of, okay? Make sense? Okay. So Russian Ethereum, overall though, I mean, we are looking for much higher prices, okay? One of these days we're gonna be talking about breaking this, okay? Let me put that like in pink, 4,400, all right? So somewhere you're just gonna reaccumulate, you're gonna rally, and you're gonna do some crazy stuff. And here, when we break this, I mean, you could see a massive markup, okay? Previous all-time high, like we're aiming for that kind of stuff, okay? So we're not really ever getting bearish here, all right? That's not the point I'm trying to make. Just trying to say you can't just go straight up forever. It's not healthy. If you do want to play that game, right, and you just want to run from here all the way up, you're gonna nuke all the way back down to this point anyways. So I don't know how you want to do it. It's much easier to, like, this is much healthier, right? If you can create these levels, when you come back down, you won't do it so drastically, right? You'll do it in levels, okay? You'll do it in levels, right? It won't be as dramatic, unless if the rise is though, then it will be, okay? It's like a V-shaped recovery in inverse, brah. Okay, so you don't want to see it that way, all right? We much rather prefer the slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Slow and steady. We like to develop price action, X, A, B, C, D patterns, right? So, yeah, let's see what we get here. Okay, let's move on to ETH to BTC. Here was the, okay, so this has been in one massive range. So here's your range. I'll make these, okay, so big range, okay? So midpoint of this range is yet to be, well, it was tested once. See, and then you sell off, right? And you make this partial decline. So now, this time when we get back here, it's going to hold, okay? This time when we get back here, it's going to hold because you already rallied off the low. ETH is here right now on USD. You get the partial decline. You paint the higher low from the previous low. And then you're going to rally and test the area again. This is where it holds, and this is where you mark up in price. You finally get back to this previous range high, break out of it, right? And then go. Sometimes you'll back test this and do it the second time. Sorry, I'm running out of screen here. Right? Sometimes you have to do it the second time. But either way, you're going to leave this range, okay? You're going to leave this range at some point. So, yeah. ETH BTC stop is just below all this previous, below this low you had from May 23rd and below the double bottom from June 24th and 27th, okay? So your stop would still be down here, okay? Once we get this price action to rally away from this area, okay, that's when you can bring your stop up to this next little area, all right? Just take it easy. Yeah. So ETH BTC, you know, it went for it once, failed, went for it again, failed. So, you know, let's see if this time, third time's the charm here on these rallies. It really looks like the next time you test this area, though, it's running out of supply there. Okay, the demand for the bulls to keep pushing this area seems like they're fighting for it. Okay, so I don't know if the bears have enough supply to just keep dumping on them, every time they come up here, the bears just dump on them. So eventually the bears are going to get overtaken here by the bulls, and this is going to be an SR flip area. Support resistance is now going to be flipped into support, right? Previous resistance will now become support, and then you'll just mark up to the next area of, you know, major area of supply. Okay, simple duckonomics 101. Wi-Fi. Okay, Wi-Fi. Yeah, this is looking pretty nice as well, guys. Pretty much this seems to be lagging a bit, so it hasn't where a lot of the other assets are up here. Wi-Fi, I mean, you did get that test initially. It was leading everything over here, but then it sold all the way back off. And it looks like you painted a pretty nice inverse head and shoulders down here. You painted this neckline. You've broke, back tested, and now you're ready for the go. And Wi-Fi, I could see you at 37,000 here, you know, really, really soon. So again, that's going to be your critical area for Wi-Fi, is to flip this area into support. Okay, SR flip this area and then rally. So that'll be a pretty crucial. Support resistance flip. Why? Here we go. There you go. Okay, so 37, excuse me, it'll be a critical support resistance area to flip for Wi-Fi, and that'll push you up into the golden zone. After the golden zone, you would then be targeting a deeper retrace. So this golden zone's like right here, okay? And then your deep retrace up here, 786, 886, between 70 and 80K. Yeah. Massive markup for this asset. If it continues to play ball, right, and everything doesn't just decide to just completely nuke, but it doesn't appear that that's the case, right? This is a really clear point of invalidation right here, where you can have your stop loss. Where you can have your stop loss below these lows, okay? You could really just be below this this head here, right? So looking good here so far on Wi-Fi. I would have a position, even if you get a partial decline here, because Bitcoin decides to take, you know, decline. You'll know, because see this clear trend line here? If you see Wi-Fi lose it, right? If you see it lose it, you're probably going to get that decline. But it's probably not going to be nothing crazy. It's still just going to be a higher low here. So I wouldn't worry about it, but it would give you a potential area to re-add on. So again, if it gives it to you, not saying it will or has to, because this one's lagging, right? A lot of the others may give it to you, where this one might hold up strong. But if it does, you could just kind of layer into a position, right? And just see what you can grab on this asset. So for example, like it could be something like this, right? X, A, B, C, and then you get this big rally out to the top side D, right? So you get this partial decline, big rally up, and then this is where you sell off, perform the SR flip, something like that, right? I don't know, we need more data still. Whoops. But that is your next potential long area if you get it. If you're already in a position, I just have a stop, because this looks like it could pill up really easily at this point, because it's been lagging. Litecoin, Litecoin, a lot of these assets are hitting that target already, where Wi-Fi is not, okay? Wi-Fi is not. You look back to ETH in the target. You look to Bitcoin, it's in the target. You look to Litecoin, just approaching the lower half of the target, right? You look at Link in the target. So you see what I mean? How YFI though, it's just lagging that area, okay? Where were we at? Litecoin. Okay, Russian Litecoin. Okay. So Litecoin, you had this, again, massive downsloping trend line that we've been watching for quite some time. You had all these touch points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then finally broke out on the 7th one, right? And when we broke out, we got this nice markup. You had a little back test, and then you're rallying still, okay? This has been one nice little rally to the upside. You are in the target area of the previous C and A high of the purple bullish bat, okay? So the bat would be targeting its A and C, okay? So that's why, again, a trader that would have longed this D trading this bat would be taking profit right here. They'd be layering out, okay? Somebody not really concerned with taking this all in one shot, right? They'd be like, meh, I'm good right here. I made some money. Even if they didn't catch the bottom, they caught the rally on the backside somewhere here. You know, they're up, 30% almost, guys. Okay, people will be peeling some off here. That being said, that could cause this how would this kind of look? Yeah, it would kind of look like this. This could cause this partial decline, okay? And again, this isn't going to be anything crazy, right? Maybe a little inverse head and shoulders, paint a little neckline, get a little rally, back test the target area as support, flip the area, rally up to the next higher area. And our next zone's going to be 200 to 210 because that's, again, the C and A high of another harmonic, okay? That's why we have these levels marked this way. So if you can get a partial decline here back to the 120 to 130 area, anything in there, buy the dip, right? You're just, if you have yourself an uptrend and you've identified the trend, allow it to be your friend. So anytime you have a pullback, you buy it. You have a pullback, you buy it. You have a pullback, you buy it, right? You could continue to milk the position on the way up. Or, you could just hold it. It's up to you. It's up to you, whatever floats your boat. But I know there's two types of traders in here, and each one of you wants to kind of see. Check this out. Look what we found back here. See that? So interesting, right? Right where that target was. Interesting what critical support resistance areas, right? Looking back left. So look how this area was really, really regarded. Even here where the A happened, right? Whoops. Really regarded levels. So you're in that area, that's the target, so it makes sense why, right? It also makes sense why it may act as resistance, okay? Very critical, but it could only hold 1, 2, third time, strike, you're out, rally, right? It can't hold forever because as you keep testing an area, the supply at that area is diminishing, and eventually you have to go up to the next supply level, okay? Let's see, moving on, we have OMG. So again, look, another one of these areas we had identified as a potential buy zone, just rallying right up and right into this area where the previous A and C are, okay? So you would ideally see this rally one more time here, and by doing so, right, this this next rally here would paint some kind of 1, 2, 3 times bearish divergence type situation, right? And you'd have the divergence right in that take profit area, right? And that's how come you see these declines. You paint this higher low, and then you rally again, right? So nothing too crazy here, okay? Yeah, see? Paint that 3 times bearish divergence type stuff, right? This can go all the way up as high as right here and still be diverging. See that? Just paint a lower high. MACD. 1, 2, 3 times bearish divergence on the MACD. It's even coming from a lower area. It's like that. Okay, so again, that's how you can see these possible little pullbacks. Nothing crazy, but yeah, let's see. Anyways, it just would give you another potential buy zone. It's not like we're saying short this thing to 0, guys. All we're gonna do is give ourselves another buy zone, right? Just whoops, clone. Okay, it's just saying this, guys, just another little buy zone. All right, nothing too crazy here. All right, so all right, and if you get this buy zone, that at that point you'd be rallying up to this purple area. Okay, you would rally from here up into the $7-8 area. Okay, so if you get the $4 back test, you rally, you know, from $4 to $7 or $8. Okay, so OMG. All right, Link. So Link has reached the A and the C high of the harmonic. All right, where you had this 1272D down here, and you've rallied all the way back up, and you hit the A and the C of this harmonic. So again, look at this, where at this top area, okay, you're building this bearish divergence, okay, and on the MACD, bearish divergence, okay. So watch out on Link, because look, you're at the top here, okay. So this is why you can get these little resets. You get this partial decline, okay, right to this square up area, and then you rally again, okay. So that's Link. AVAX. Okay, last time we checked this, we said we were gonna backtest this neckline. We're gonna break out. We're gonna backtest the downsloping trend line, and then we're gonna rally. Okay, well, look what we did. It pretty much exactly that, right? Since we last saw this asset. So now you have the C, which you're there right now, okay, and then you have the previous A. Okay, so right in here, odds are you rally up one more, put in one more little high, okay, and then you get this partial decline, something like this, right? So, and then here's where you would see your potential, your potential bearish divergence developing. All right, something like that. It's not as defined as it is on like on Link, for example, but still something you want to keep an eye out, especially because if they all do that bullshit and partial decline, you know, if Bitcoin causes that shit to happen like this, it's gonna do it to everything. Okay, it's gonna do it to everything. But if Bitcoin holds, it's also going to do it to everything, and everything's going to hold. So that's your kicker, right? If you can remain above the yellow line, you stay bullish here. If you get below this yellow line, okay, you're gonna see that decline. Between the yellow lines is Chop City. Above, clear message. Below, clear message down. Okay. AVAX. There's what we have. Again, if we get this partial decline here, we would be just looking for that as an entry. Okay. So, like a re-entry area. Okay, re-entry area if you get the decline. What else? Let's see. We have FTT. Yeah, check this shit out, guys. Look at this. FTT. We drew this harmonic a long time ago. Okay, look at what just happened. We just hit that harmonic 1272 D short entry target area, and that midpoint, and we double topped right there. Okay, double topped right there. We almost even hit it where we stretched it to. Duration wise, we don't do duration, but I don't know. Witch has been DMing me, so maybe she's rubbing off. Okay, so partial decline could be the B here, guys. Could be the B. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Okay. So let's see what happens. What would the B be? Haha. 618. Okay. 618. Partial decline would be golden retrace would be here. Okay. Between the 382 and the 618, and that's right where the B is. So yeah, not as clear on the oscillators, but you definitely gotta wonder about this, okay? But it is a butterfly. That being said, a butterfly could go all the way up to a 1618, okay? So it could still rally out above this, almost like a fake out. Whoops. Almost like a fake out, and then it could dump, okay? This is still possible, all right? Because of a butterfly, it has a zone between the 1272 and the 1618. Okay, so watch the butterfly, but it's valid, it's live, because you've hit the 1272 and a little bit beyond, so it's alive. Okay, this is alive, so beware. So you could look for a area to re-add in this golden retrace zone, and it would make sense. Okay, and once that prints and we get this reaction off of it, we would then use this as our new area to bring the stop. Okay, later on. But right now, yeah, we've reached a pretty critical area. Okay, moving on. XLM, Stellar Lumen, same thing, guys. Look at this. We had our buy zone down here. Okay, stop was below the previous low. We rallied, and you are in the zone between the A and the C. Okay, so pretty crazy stuff, right? Oh, sorry, I almost died. All right, so you're in this kind of take profit area. If this holds, your next area of interest would be right here at 34 cents. Okay, if this sells off, ideally you probably just come and square up this neckline somewhere here. Okay, and paint a higher low, and then end up here. Okay, so yeah, either way, just buy the dip if you get it. If you're still in from the bottom, you could peel a little bit off and look to re-add. That way you feel like you know, have some action if you want some action. But you can also just let it ride and check back later, just keep that stop right there. Okay, it's up to you. Two ways to play it. Neither are really wrong. It just depends on how much time you have to spend managing the assets. Okay, excuse me, AAVE, another asset entering this area. Okay, take profit area. So interesting. All right, so this is the one that's been leading everything, where we initially had these, whoops, we had this initial Gartley down here, way down here, right? We had this Gartley and we had this buy zone. Okay, so this buy zone ended up being like this, where we bought some and then we got a little dip and we bought some more. Okay, this was our higher low. See, this is like where we are right now. We're getting this rally. We want this partial decline, higher low, we'll buy more, and then we'll rally the rest of the way. We'll continue to paint higher lows and we'll rally, right? So we're looking for this, okay, right now, so we can buy more. So we had that go on down at this Gartley, right? The Gartley, because you had a B618 and a D786, textbook Gartley, okay? So we had that textbook Gartley on AVE, and then we rallied. Okay, we rallied all the way up here. We broke above this midpoint, back tested it as support, rallied up, back tested it again, came up, painted a lower high, and then we proceeded to sell off. Okay, sold all the way off, painted a higher low here, painted bullish divergence. Okay, and then we rallied up and we hit the targets of the A and the C high that you created by painting, you know, this double top. You came right back to it. Okay, so very interesting price action. Okay, doggy, dog looking to rally. Okay, you had this buy zone, you've rallied, you're approaching this midpoint, lagging a little bit. This likes to run sometimes when others don't, so maybe this runs by itself up here and you hit these buy zone later. If not, maybe this just sells off one more time and then it does it on the next one. Okay, either way, you're probably going to find yourself up here 27-28 cents here, you know, in the next few days or weeks, you know, on dog. Right now you're at 20 cents. So 20 cents, let's you know, if you get some dip, you can add to it or build a position if you don't have one. So again, let's see, might be some kind of X, A, B, C. This would be a shark, so we'd be looking for an 886. Okay, 886 would put you right back in the deep retrace. So I don't know that you'll get this shark, but if you do get an 886 down here, watch out. All right, there could be a shark. Aside from that, it could still give you a partial decline, right? You can still get a decline without having to paint a harmonic, right? It doesn't always have to be a harmonic, all right? It's just, you know, it's just, we like to see them because it gives us more clarity, right? But sometimes it's just a low and a higher low, okay? Simple as that. And we rally. So we're looking for this A and C high, though, ultimately, which is 27-28 cents area, okay? Okay, let's check out Enphase. We've been watching this, right? You guys know this is one that I have a vested interest in, right? So we have what appears to be a potential kind of makeshift head and shoulders here, inverse, brah. You see the neckline's already kind of plotted. We've got a break, hook, and we are working on a go, fellas. If I can get me a go in the chat here, and we break above this area, okay, another maybe break, hook, and go here, this is going to be really, 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 really critical, okay? And then it's on to the races. I'm pretty sure, let me go to the 3-day here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is all-time high. Okay, so definitely if we break this previous high here at basically, what's the high? 228. So 228 is all-time high. We're working on blue sky breakout. Okay, so blue sky breakout would be massive. All right, if we can push this thing, pretty sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, if we could push this thing to the 300, 310 area, that's gonna be very ideal. I think that's 1414, but that's really what I'm looking for. Yeah, 1414, 310. I mean, 1618's up there, 362, 1272, 280. So these are your blue sky breakout targets if we can get it. All right, and right now it's looking pretty pretty nice on that, as far as being a possibility. Okay, very, very bullish looking asset, to say the least. See if I mean, printer keeps going burr. I don't know what's gonna really stop this anytime soon. Okay, this is massive hidden bullish divergence there. Okay guys, look, you have that rally up. Here's your rally on Bitcoin. Okay, you sell off, partial decline. Okay, paint a higher low, paint the hidden bullish divergence you see there in blue, and then you rally. Okay, this is all we're looking for, is just a partial decline, nothing crazy. Give me a low, paint me a higher low, give me a neckline there, lower time frame structure, right? You see that lower time frame price action, okay, that we're kind of used to. All right, let me see, clean that up a little. Okay, where we paint this initial low, a higher low, right? We paint a neckline. We have a break, a back test, and now the go, right? So lower time frame structure within our higher time frame, okay, macro bullishness, bulla. Okay, next, Tesla Motors. Okay, so again on this one, let me clean this up so you can see what the heck is going on here. Okay, so we basically said let's rally. We put a double top in, let's back test, double bottom, and let's go, right? And let's go. So look, we're working on that go. Again, pretty critical little area right here that if we can break, just like we have now identified here. Okay, we're looking on for this to now break, back test, paint a higher low, higher highs, higher lows, and then rally up to that 850 area. Okay, you know, a lot of people were calling 500 on this. 500 remains to be right here. Dime was after me, trying to stop me out. We're painting a low, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high. I don't know, bro. I'm gonna have to drop this chart in Dime's DM real quick, just so he can steam on it. Yeah, I don't know. Uptrend, in my opinion. Okay. So looking good here. Tesla, we're looking for 850. If we can get that, again, this is that previous kind of high area like on Enphase. And in theory, these are both literally 1 and 2 in the battery market. Enphase, number 1. Tesla, number 2. If one's rallying, why wouldn't the other be rallying? Okay, so if Enphase gets up here and breaks all-time highs, you would likely see Tesla doing the same thing. All right, Tesla. Okay, next we have Idex, ducconomics, Idex. Okay, this sucker is just hanging out in the buy zone. Okay, just giving you opportunities, all right, to enrich yourself if you're so willing to oblige. Okay, so you have this almost complex inverse head and shoulders in development, okay, where you have this initial low on price, okay, then we have a lower low on price, and then we have a now higher low on price, okay, slanted neckline. So ideally from here we want to see a rally, a back test, and a go, okay, of this potential slanted inverse head and shoulders. See at 3 1/4, then 356, okay. So dunk dunk, here's your initial next area of interest, okay. And you would think by the time we get there that, you know, maybe it's time to get a little reset, okay, just like what we're working on right now. You get up into this area and you get a partial decline, and then you rally again, right? But somewhere that partial decline would occur after hitting those take profit target areas, okay. Ducconomics, okay. Looking back at BTC 4 hour, yeah, she's a beaut. We're out of that range. It's crazy, right? Amazing to think that just recently, very recently, you know, things looked a lot different on the corn, right? People were hating right in this area, right? Lot of haters right here, okay? A lot of people were saying 20K, it's over. We remained strong even when being tested right here, as this barely broke below this kind of area we had marked, because this was the previous, this is why we have it marked, okay, that way. So we got that small price action below it, everyone's freaking the shit out, and then, you know, what really happened, right? We were talking about it in here. I know the real ones know. Okay, what did we really get, right? Boom, right into our target area, okay? So interesting stuff, to say the least. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the stream. I'm gonna try and do a morning stream tomorrow, around 10 a.m. Mountain. So if you guys are up, or maybe for some of you it'll be nighttime, I don't know. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Catch you back in the Discord. But yeah, duck out. Peace.